This is North Korea at night, and this is Camp 14, a place where children are born prisoners, where execution is entertainment, where escape is considered impossible. In 2005, one man proved them wrong. This is his story. Camp 14 sits in the mountains of Kaechon, 55 miles north of Pyongyang. It doesn't appear on official maps. The North Korean government denies it exists. But satellite imagery tells a different story. The camp is divided into two zones: the revolutionizing zone, where prisoners can theoretically earn release, and the total control zone. There is no release from the total control zone. Shin Dong-hyuk was born there in 1982. His parents didn't choose to be together. Camp guards arranged their marriage as a reward for good behavior. They were allowed to sleep in the same room, 4 nights a year. Shin would later say he never saw them show affection, not once. This wasn't cruelty, this was normal. Because when you're born in a prison camp, you don't know you're a prisoner. For 23 years, Shin lived inside Camp 14. He watched public executions. He endured torture, his finger chopped off for dropping a sewing machine. He informed on his own mother and brother when he overheard them planning an escape. They were caught and executed in front of him. The guards rewarded Shin with extra food, but in 2005, something changed. A new prisoner arrived at Camp 14, an older man named Park. Park had lived outside. He'd traveled. He'd eaten meat. And late at night, in the factory where they worked, Park told Shin about the world beyond the fences. He described cities, markets, rice so abundant you could eat until you were full. For Shin, this was impossible, magical. And for the first time in his life, he wanted out. There was no plan, not really. Escape from Camp 14 had never been done. The fences were electrified. The guards shot on sight. Minefields surrounded the perimeter. But Shin had one advantage. He was invisible. Prisoners like Shin were considered subhuman, expendable. Guards barely looked at them. So Shin waited and watched. He noticed the drainage pipes under the inner fence, narrow, rusted, barely 1.5 feet high. He noticed the guards change shifts at dusk. He noticed that in the rain, visibility dropped to almost zero. And one day, he tested the fence. He pressed his calf against the electrified wire, deliberately. The pain was unimaginable. The burns covered half his leg. But he survived. And now he knew the fence could be crossed. January 2nd, 2005. Shin was assigned to a work detail near the southern perimeter. It was raining, freezing, the kind of weather where guards stay inside their towers. This was it. He waited until the guards turned away. Then he dropped to the ground and crawled. The drainage pipe was barely wide enough. Rusted metal scraped his back. Water soaked through his clothes. But he kept moving. 30 seconds later, he emerged on the other side of the inner fence. Now came the hard part. Between Shin and freedom were 2 more fences. One barbed wire, one electrified. Guard towers every 200 meters. Motion sensors. Minefields. He ran. The first fence ripped his skin. The second fence was live. He grabbed a fallen tree branch, pressed it against the wire. The current arced. Sparks flew. And in that moment, just seconds before the guards noticed, Shin pushed through. He was outside Camp 14, for the first time in his life. But he wasn't free. Not yet. Shin walked south, through forests, through villages, stealing food, avoiding checkpoints. He had no map, no money, no idea where he was going. Just a vague memory of what Park had told him. Cross the border, get to China. 6 weeks later, he reached the Tumen River. It was frozen. He walked across. And just like that, he was in China. Shin spent 2 years in China, working odd jobs, hiding from authorities who would send him back. In 2006, he crossed into South Korea. He was 24 years old. He'd never used a phone. never seen a car, never eaten a full meal. In 2012, he published his story. Escape from Camp 14 became an international bestseller, but in 2015, Shin admitted he'd misremembered parts of his account, details about where certain events happened, the timeline of his torture. Critics claimed he fabricated the entire escape, but human rights organizations verified the core facts. The scars on his body matched his story. His knowledge of Camp 14's layout was impossible to fake. And here's the thing. Whether every detail is perfectly accurate or not, doesn't change what Shin survived. It doesn't change that Camp 14 is real, that 200,000 people are still imprisoned there, that children are still being born behind those fences. Shin Dong-hyuk is one of approximately 30,000 North Korean defectors living in South Korea. He's the only one known to have been born in a political prison camp, and the only one to escape.